What did we say? I'm ready to record my phone call. Hold on. Okay. Oh. Okay, so you have evidence that it has been different people saying their name is April Williams. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw that. Yes. One of them was using some kind of stuff on the phone. I think he said something about a Bitcoin account. BITCOIN. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it is. That's one of the reasons why when that person was there, I was like, this not my April Williams. The girl that I was with don't even use those kind of accounts. It seemed like it said something about a Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. It seemed like some kind of scam or something they was doing with some money. No, I ain't want to get in trouble with none of this stuff they was doing. I don't care about money like that and stuff like that. I just pay my own rent. Cause I had my own money when I met when I met a girl named April Williams. I never had to use her for any money or stuff like that. I never had to do any of this stuff like that. Mm. Yeah, I think it was one of the ones that they said was being a prostitute for somebody that they were saying was some kind of pimp or something because they seem to only care about money and scams and wanting people to work and stuff, wanting other people's wife. Just wanting the other people's wife, it seemed like they be wanting and then wanting them to work. Mm. That's how they said all of this stuff got started. Because, yeah, because they said they used the going to work as an excuse. Because there's other people they said stuff like that happened to them too. Yeah, they said if you told your wife that she don't have to work at nobody's job or nothing and stuff like that, and she said she wanted to work anyway, and sometimes they said this is what they think happened to me, that when they would go to work, it'll be one girl that said her name April Williams and say she my wife and she would go to work at a job somewhere. And then it'll be a different girl when she would come back, but she would say her name April Williams and they'll look similar and stuff. And I'm not really that smart and stuff, like just being crazy, I guess, or stupid. I wouldn't really know the difference. And then some of the people said, yeah, it happened at the hospital too. Yeah, because it was like, yeah, they said they broke the federal laws at the hospital, is what they said. They said the people that have hospitals did something wrong. They said none of this stuff wouldn't have never happened because each time that I went to the hospital since April 30th of 2004, having a marriage license, when they told me to go in one room and told her to go in a different room, some of the people said that's when they did it, that it would be a different person that said their name April Williams, and that's why they didn't want me being in the same room, and that it wasn't the same girl every time, and that they was used in the hospitals. So when you would be married and have a marriage license, they said the federal government said that when you married or when you have a marriage license, when you somebody husband and when you somebody wife and both of y'all is in the hospital at the same time, you supposed to be in the same room with each other. That way you wouldn't have to worry about stuff like this happening. because when they tell her to go in one hospital room and tell you to go in a different hospital room, when you get out the hospital and when you see her and when she see you, sometimes it's not the same person. Yeah, it seemed like that's the stuff they did to me, because I went to the hospital a lot at the UAB hospital in Birmingham, Alabama, and at the Brookwood Hospital in the Birmingham, Alabama area. And I went to the hospital at the same time as the name on my marriage license of the person that said that she is my wife. And since I have a marriage license and she said she is my wife, they said the people at the hospital did something wrong, because since those pictures look like it was different girls named April Williams, and the federal law say that if a husband and a wife goes to the hospital at the same time, both of them are supposed to be able to be in the same hospital room. They said that it might be stuff that they did at the hospital that's wrong, because one of the people, some of the people say that when I went to the hospital at the same time as a person that says that they are my wife, and they said I can't be in the same room with her, or that I have to go to a different room. When they said, okay, here's April, here's your wife, they said they broke the law and did something wrong, and that it could be a crime in a sex offense as sex offenders, because if they know that it wasn't my wife and they was doing some kind of experiment and trying to see how many different girls can say they name April Williams and how many girls had sex with me and did that stuff, they said, yeah, if you look up my medical records, it would show that I was at the hospital a lot at those places. And they said, yep, they said that they wasn't supposed to have two separate rooms at the hospital because, exactly. Yeah, they what they said. Yeah. Yeah, they said, I went to the hospital with a girl that said her name was April Williams. Or I went to the hospital with a girl that said she was my wife. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I went to the hospital with a girl that said she was my wife, and I have a marriage license. They had us in two separate rooms. Hmm. When I left the hospital, they told me the girl was my wife. But looking back on it, and when you look at the pictures, it seemed like it was a different girl every time. In order for them to do that at the hospital, that means the people at the hospital did do that stuff. Because they was the ones that told me it was my wife. Mm-hmm. That was like the same stuff happening at the school, is what some of the people say. Yeah. Well, they said one of the girls was seem like she was like a prostitute and addicted to drugs or something like that. And it, mm-hmm. They said one of the people said, I'm not a doctor and I'm not rich and I don't have as much money as they do. And that she was listening to the other people and would make excuses to go to the hospital. Yeah, they said that somebody was trying to be a pimp and that somebody had tried to pimp them. Mm-hmm. They said a person that said they was smart or some kind of doctor or something like that would tell her to go crazy or start a fight or argument with me. And it was like, since she know that I didn't do anything wrong, she wouldn't really want me to get in trouble. So sometimes she would either go crazy, like sometimes she would be like yelling and screaming or and stuff like that. And They didn't call it having a panic attack because the people that they said, you know, they said that she was scared of the other people, and that they would be telling her that if she didn't have sex with them, they would do bad stuff to me and to the children and to her and stuff like that. And that she was scared to say something, so that she would just go to the hospital and she would tell me to go with her and stuff like that. But when I got there, they would put us in separate rooms, and some of the people said that one of the girls or some of the girls that they would be having sex with them and stuff like that, and that's why they didn't want me in the same room. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people said that's why they didn't want to go to the hospitals no more, because it's because of people that wanted to have sex with other people's husband and other people's wife. Mm-hmm. And they said they did something that America said they weren't supposed to do, because they told me that the federal law said that if you have a marriage license, the doctor not supposed to be having sex with your husband or your wife, and that the nurse not supposed to be having sex with your husband or your wife. And if the doctor and the nurse and the people at the hospital wasn't trying to have sex with your husband or your wife, then what's the point of them putting you in two different hospital rooms when a husband and a wife or two people with a marriage license be at the hospital at the same time? Seems to be the $1 million question. And a lot of people seem to be mad at those people too, because a lot of people love America and a lot of people love the federal laws. And since the people at the hospital broke the federal laws, a lot of people love being married, and a lot of people love their wife, and a lot of people love their husband, and a lot of people said the people at the hospital did wrong, because when America says a husband and a wife can be in the same hospital room together, the people at the hospital are not supposed to be breaking the laws of the federal government and putting people in the hospital that have a marriage license in two separate rooms, telling the husband that when you're at the hospital with your wife, you can't see her. That's against America's laws. That's what I was told. Telling a wife when her husband is in the hospital that you can't see your wife, that's against America's federal laws, is what I was told. So the people at the hospital sound like terrorists, is what I was told. And maybe they need to be arrested, is what I was told. Anybody that worked at the hospital that said when my wife was in the hospital, I couldn't see her, the whole staff seems to need to be arrested for breaking the federal laws of America. Because breaking the federal laws, I told, and they told me, they said, if you break the federal laws, that means you are a terrorist. People at the hospital saying that a husband can't see his wife when both of them is at the hospital, saying that a wife can't see her husband when both of them is at the hospital. And they said it's a lot of medical records and a lot of people that say that they got marriage licenses, and it's a lot of people at the hospital that seem to be guilty of breaking the federal laws, and they seem like terrorists. Exactly. Mm-hmm. So yeah, exactly. So when I went to the hospital, ever since April 30th of 2004, and I went to the hospital a lot, it doesn't seem like it was the same April Williams when I went to the hospital and they put us in different rooms. And when I left the hospital and they said, this is April, it seemed like different people. So the people at the hospital did do something wrong? Okay. Well, maybe that's why a lot of people mad. I know. Because it ain't no telling what some people will do for their husband. And it ain't no telling what some people will do for their wife. And it ain't no telling what some people God does for a marriage. And it ain't no telling what some people family does for a family. And if my wife has a family, and if my wife has children, and if her children have a family, you know, brothers, sisters, some people say some people are married and stuff like that. Some people get real mad when, you know, a person say they're somebody's husband and a person says they're somebody's wife, and other people try to have sex with them. hmm Well, I was taught a way of when other people do stuff, I'm not supposed to be triggered. They said I can get mad. I can say that I'm mad. They said being angry is not a crime. Being mad is not a crime. hmm Saying how I feel is not a crime. Yeah, they told me, but I'm not supposed to like do bad, like actions, like physical stuff or sex stuff. And that it's not my fault if a person said their name was April Williams or a person said they was my wife. And if it was different people and they had sex with me and I didn't know what was going on. hmm Yeah, someone is the mom of the child born August 31st, 2004. And according to the birth certificate, it says the mom name is April Williams and she said she was my wife. And someone is the mom of the child born July 18th, 2006. And according to the birth certificate, it says the mom's name is April Williams and she says she's my wife. And someone is the mom of the child born October 2008. And according to the birth certificate, it says the mom's name is April Williams and she says she's my wife. Because according to the marriage license that I have of April 30th, 2004, it says April Williams is the name of my wife. And different people said their name was April Williams and different people said they were my wife. And I'm not sure how long it's been going on and stuff like that. And I'm not sure whose idea it was. Well, see, that's the difference between me and other people. I had plans on being married. hmm And so, according to April 30th, 2004, I got a marriage license because April 30th, 2004, according to the birth certificate of April 30th, 1986, they say April was 18 years old on the date of April 30th, 2004. So that means the first chance that I got a marriage license because it was about being married. It's about being married. About marriage. it was like somebody else wanted to be married too and stuff, and other people wanted to be married. So it seemed like somewhere between here and there and there and here. I don't know whose idea it was, but different people started saying they was April Williams. And looking back on it, it seemed like different people said their name was April Williams, and different people said they were my wife. And it seemed like different people had sex with me, and it seemed like different people might be the mom of the different children with the different birth certificates. And it wasn't my ideal. Mm-mm. I only made plans of being married. It seemed like somebody wanted a family. Somebody wanted to have sex with different people. Somebody wanted another man or to be part of some kind of sex group. Somebody wanted like some somebody wanted some other stuff. Somebody wanted to call somebody their mom or their dad or something. Some people that I don't even know. Hmm. Yeah, in the family court of Jefferson County, Alabama. Hmm. Okay, so it does seem like the police had something to do with the scam. Okay, you pulled up my records. Exactly, they all victimless crimes. So someone was using the name April Williams, and a police officer was doing something wrong. Exactly. And they did that to other people too. And they were not federal police, and it was not the federal government. It was not American federal police officers. It was just those small town cricket cops that said they were part of a fraternal order and did bad stuff. Okay. And that's one of the reasons why when I know it was about being married, that's why I told the girl not to go to school and not to work, because some of the girls went to college or whatever and said they were sexually abused at frat parties with those fraternal orders. Exactly. Some of the girls went to college and said they was abused at those frat parties with those fraternal orders, and they said it was sex abuse in it. Some of those schools and fraternities are full of sex offenders and abusive people. Hmm. So you have a report? Okay. Because I'm in this disability chair and stuff like that. And if it was a court date or something at the family court for the children, or something about making sure those police officers, not all of them, just the bad police officers that were sexually abusing people, go to jail, and whatever happens to sex offenders happen to them. Okay.